Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. Hey, Craig, what are you looking at here?
Hi, Tom, long-time listener, and when the lasers first came out, that was the best thing to have on a gun or a weapon. Mm-hmm. And now red dots are out, and I hear you talk about them exclusively. My question to you is since I bought a lot of lasers, is there a better time to have a laser on your weapon, especially in your house, compared to a red dot?
Okay.
Or a red dot's the best thing now and replace lasers at all situations?
Well, that's a good question. I actually had not put the two of those together like an either-or deal. When lasers came out, people said, I don't want to trust my life to a thing with a battery. I said the same thing. Then I tried and went, okay, that was dumb, Tom. Don't say stupid things anymore. Lasers are phenomenal for self-defense guns. I love the idea of lasers on self-defense firearms. They're quick. They're easy to use when you're in a contorted position, you're on the ground, when you can't line up your sights. It's a completely different thing from a red dot optic on your, for instance, a pistol. Let's talk pistols for a moment. For one thing, when you put a red dot optic on your handgun, it takes a lot of training, and training in this case being a lot of draws and pointing out, preferably with an empty gun. And when I say a lot, I'm talking about 1,000 draws, 1,000 push-outs, 1,000 times to get the sight to line up so that you're hitting it every time so you can actually see the dot. At first, you're liable to put it out there and not even be able to see the dot. It will slow you down considerably. Now, once you get there and you do a lot of practice, it's actually faster and a bit more accurate. But, and here's the big but on that, if you're okay shooting iron sights and you don't want to put in that kind of work, that kind of practice, then maybe a laser and your iron sights that you have now will work just fine. There's nothing in the world wrong with them. And, red dot sights are cool. The optics are great. But I'll have to say, if you're talking about drawing and shooting quickly, the red dot will slow you down for a little while. Once you get past a certain point, you'll be faster and better. But the question becomes, are you willing to put in that kind of work? Does that make sense?
Yes, I assume that red dots are for like hunting or target shooting or something like that, where close in, and especially at nighttime, I would assume lasers are the best.
Well, not really. I think red dot sights work great on self-defense guns, but you have to have mastered them and practice with them and make sure that your draw comes out where you can actually line up the barrel, the slide, so that it all lines up. Here's what happens. Maybe I can explain it a little better. If the gun isn't lined up just right to your eye, you will be looking through the window on the red dot, but you won't see the red dot. You'll just see the window. There. Okay. Then you end up doing the muzzle waggle, and you're waving it all around, kind of wiggling it. Oh, there it is. Okay, I've got it. Well, that's all well and good when you got plenty of time, but in a self-defense situation, that's not good. And that's where iron sights and lasers faster until you have that, whatever it is, 500 or 1,000 reps that gets you to where each and every time you draw and press out and you open your eyes, you'll be looking and seeing the red dot. And you'll get to that point. But I hesitate to tell people do that unless they commit to making the effort, to getting the practice in, to getting it where they want to. I am still a huge fan of lasers on self-defense guns. I will tell you, particularly on like backup guns, a snub-nose 38 or the 327 Federal snub-nose revolver with a laser, it's just one of the best tools you can imagine. It's basically put the dot on the target, press the trigger, and bullet's going to go to where the dot was pointed, as long as you can press the trigger and not disturb the sights. So it's not one or the other. They're both good. You know what I've not done, though? Just thinking out loud here. I've not shot a gun that had both. That sounds like a project. We can do that. I'm going to put some of our folks on that. We're going to take a gun out that has a laser and a red dot on it, and we're going to see if that just totally screws up the works. Because it may be you're going, oh, okay, well, if you're going to put the red dot on it, then take the laser off. Or not. Because, there are times when you might have to shoot from an awkward position. You can't actually put the gun up in front of your face. But with a laser, you can reach around something with your gun. If you can see the target, you can put the dot on the target and press the trigger. Also, I'll tell you this. Here's an interesting thought. We've done this. You can shoot a pistol fairly accurately while you're moving with a red dot, particularly if you're moving to the side, going sideways. Take one hand off, shoot it one-handed, like if you're going to move to the left and you shoot right-handed. Just stick it out with your right hand. Don't worry about looking over the sights. Just put the dot on the target and press the trigger. We've done that moving past a whole row of targets. It's amazing how effective you can be that way. There are applications like that, but you just got to go out and practice with it, shoot a lot of rounds, and tinker around with it. Look, I appreciate the call. That gives me something to work on. A project, a red dot and a laser on the gun at the same time. Well, wait, you know what? There's liable to be somebody listening right now that's already done that. If you've done that, if you have a thought on one or the other, or maybe both at the same time, help us out, okay? I'm struggling here.